Start recording. A pink circle with a white circle and a white circle. Stop recording. Duration. One. Stop recording. Button. A pink circle with a white square in the center. Hello, everybody. So this is going to be a quick demo of the Amazon Echo Show vs the Google Home Hub. I know that there might be some interest out there in this kind of video. I was kind of in the mood for finding one of these smart home hub speakers, and the information out there just isn't very plentiful. It was hard kind of getting information on these speakers and knowing how they both sort of interface and work. And so I decided that, I bought the Google Home Hub first, in full disclosure, and I ended up not being happy with it at all. So I'm going to go ahead and just speak my mind on both these products so it's not a 30-minute video. And I'll kind of do a demo of how I wanted to use them and show you kind of how they are so different from each other. So, as you can hear, her VoiceView is chiming up here. So one of the things I really wanted to do was I wanted to have a system where I could actually use the screen on the device to do certain tasks. So, for example, maybe I came in my room and I just wanted to read the news. And that's kind of why I originally thought of Google, because I thought I would be able to do hey, and by the way, this video I'm going to use Lady A and Google's names all the time. So if you have those devices around, I apologize. I just can't really get around it. I don't have a lot of editing capabilities here for this at this moment. So it'll kind of be what it is. And I do apologize. So, I'm getting over the flu. So, that's another one of the reasons I wanted to use these devices, is so I could have a device that just sort of sits there and is there for me when I need it. And so I bought the Google Home Hub first, thinking that because I'm kind of getting into Android more and more, that would be the device I wanted to have. I could have a Chromecast device. I could have, it's in the ecosystem. But, honestly, I don't know why there's even accessibility on this thing. I say that because it's so freaking awful. I think they're using cloud to text to speech, maybe, because it's so slow at times that you're like, why is it so sluggish? So I'm going to just kind of do a quick demo of it in a minute. So once I kind of realized that this device isn't going to be for me,
chromevox
of course,
feedback is ready.
I threw away the box dumbly, thinking that, because I had it for like 20 minutes and it was working great as a Chromecast device and as, a YouTube player and stuff. It works pretty well for that kind of stuff. But where it sort of falls down is kind of the use case I wanted to use for it. So I went out and then bought an Echo Show, and I was actually really impressed with the speed and it's basically to kind of put the Echo Show into terms of what it is. They're the same kind of device. I mean, they're ultimately a smart hub, like screen on a speaker. And the only difference is, I would say, that I can tell from viewing, my use with the Show versus the Home Hub, the Nest Home Hub, is that the Nest Home Hub does not have the smarts that the Echo Show has, in that the Echo Show is basically a Fire tablet. I'm sure there are some differences, and that I don't use a Fire tablet, so it's been a long time. You don't get obviously the Fire Store or anything like that, but as far as like the Silk browser and stuff, it works really well. So like, for example, if I wanted to, let's say, go to the Varsity Network, I could say, I'm going to use the Echo Show first as an example here. So Alexa, go to Google.
Here is Google.
So what I could do here is just touch on the screen at the top. And I'm going to let me turn this up a little bit.
You can review your Silk privacy settings and choose the option.
Okay. So it's brought up.
Sign in. This image isn't labeled. Edit.
Okay, so we have an edit box. We're going to double tap. So that's my Google edit box.
Delete all. Back. Edit. Is edit. Delete all.
And
back. Edit. Is editing. Dictate. Button.
We've got a dictate button here. The Varsity Network.
The Varsity Network.
All right, so we've put that in. So
Delete.
I'm going to go down here and hit go.
Google. Link. The Varsity Network.
All right,
Google
so
search.
now we've
videos.
that
link.
up here.
The Varsity Net. MSU Bulldog Family. The Varsity Network. TheVarsityNetwork.com. Link.
We're going to click on that.
Status. Status.
And it's going to load the Varsity Network's website. And let's just say I want to go down by buttons because that's what I know I have to do here.
Wednesday.
So the website now is loaded. So I'm going to...
List item. List. Form control.
I'm flicking up and down like quickly to get to my form controls.
Button.
We're going to swipe down.
Advertisement. Mississippi University of Texas. One Diego University. Advertisement.
And if we...
Live streams. On demand. Button.
There's no live streams now. I don't...
Rice versus North American Rice University basketball.
Oh, there is.
Button.
So I'll just go show you this. So there's a live Rice basketball game. So we're going to double tap. I didn't think there would be because it's in the afternoon here. But hey. And now we're actually listening to that Rice broadcast. How cool is that? So this is an app that's not Alexa, go home. That's not part of the Echo Show itself. This is literally me going to the Silk browser and getting to that website and playing the feed. And therefore I could have it. It'll take a second here to. There we go. I could have that feed playing then, throughout my room or whatever, without any interruption, and I like that. That's what I was hoping to achieve with the Home Hub. So let's do that same task on the Home Hub, and you're going to hear a hell of a difference here. Hey, Google, search for the Varsity Network. I need to make sure. Is that mic on?
The mic's back on.
Okay, there we go. Hey, Google, search for the Varsity Network.
Here's the result I found.
So this part is actually a little faster, right? Because obviously Google is built in. So if I touch the screen here, and it cuts itself off all the damn time. Yep. See, it's fun.
The Varsity Network apps on Google Play.
We don't want
Varsity Network apps on Google.
We don't
Play.
want that one.
Search tools button. The Varsity Network apps on Google. Rating. Rated 3.0, 175.
Let's go
Word
and move by headings.
Character.
So we take three fingers
Heading.
and swipe left and right. So we're going to go to headings. Then we're going to flick down.
Varsity Network app. Heading 3. Link. The VarsityNetwork.com audio app link.
I don't think that's what we
The
want.
Varsity Network. Heading.
I think we want to get
The
that.
Varsity Network on the App Store. The Varsity Network.
Okay.
Heading
Yeah,
3.
we want that one.
Link.
Okay. So we're going to double tap on that. That's going to take us to the VarsityNetwork.com. And I've double tapped. And by the way, you've not heard it do anything because
Status.
so we got the status thing, kind of like what we had with the Lady A over there.
Status. Status.
So it's kind of the same, right? In a sense. But this is where it gets much, much different. I'm not editing the recording at all. We're just going to let it roll. So I'm kind of getting annoyed. So I'm going to just touch the screen here. And it's just blank because it's still working to do something. Apparently it's 1999 and we're on a 56K modem or something. I'm not sure. But this is how ridiculous it is. And we're still waiting. And by the way, they're on the same internet connection. I mean, so there's all the haters out there that say I'm just dissing Google here. They're on the same Wi-Fi network. They're on the same everything. So there's no difference. It completely is just piece of shit hardware. And excuse the language, but that's what it is. And by the way, there was $20 difference between the Echo Show 8 and this Nest Home Hub. I think I got the Nest Home Hub for $50 at the end of the day, and I think I paid $60 for $10 for the show. So this is $10 difference that you're hearing the difference, and the Varsity Network still is not loaded. And if I touch the screen, it's not saying anything. It's like it's frozen. Hey Google, go home. Try this again. We'll just for the hell of it. I just want you guys to hear how frustrating this thing is. Because a lot of the podcasts I saw, like The Blind Life and stuff, they show, it has accessibility built in. But again, accessibility built in doesn't mean that it's usable or that it's desirable to be used. And that's what frustrates me about these blind clickbait channels and stuff, is that these folks will show off that there's a screen reader, present, but they don't actually show someone using it or using it the way that, one should be able to use it. And by the way, I did actually do this by turning off chromevox and using Seeing AI to see, does it take that long for the page to load for a sighted individual? And it does not. Hey Google, search for the Varsity Network.
Here's the result I found from search.
All right.
Window.
We'll pull this up again and see if we can actually get it to get to the website at least.
Varsity.
All right.
Varsity Network app. Heading 3. Play.google.com store apps details it equal comp. Varsity Network app. Heading 3. Link. Window.
All right, so we double tapped on it. I'm thinking it did say Windows, so maybe nope, still nothing there. To basically, just in the interest of fairness here, I was able to actually get it to go down to like where you could see like the Rice basketball, for example, and I could double tap on Rice. But then what would happen is it actually would not play the audio feed. I think because of the fact that whatever they're using is not really meant to stream per se, on its own. It just doesn't have the processing power. It never played the audio. And so I'm touching the screen here and it's still frozen. So, and it worked this way. Like if I went to like my local radio station to stream that, if they don't have a tune in, they just had a web player. Hey Google, go home. It worked exactly the same way. And it was just so frustrating and sad to me, the difference. And the other thing that I've noticed that's really frustrating on the Nest Home Hub and how its interface works when you are using their search is, because I was excited. They introduced a keyboard, and I actually honestly never even got to where I wanted to use the keyboard because the interface is so slow, as you just heard. But regardless of that, one of the things I wanted to do with this unit was I wanted to, possibly even watch, Netflix or watch, different shows. And, that works okay if it's built in. So for example, YouTube is built in, of course, that worked fine. Hulu is built in, that actually worked fine. But on the show, for example, Spectrum TV is not something built in, but I can actually click on the desktop version through the Silk browser, and I can actually play my Spectrum TV through its Silk browser. Now on the Chromecast, I can cast to it, which is nice if I wanted to. But, it's kind of nice not to have the phone incorporated into every little thing. And that's one of the reasons I bought this thing. Like if I didn't really need it to be, it's great that it can be a casting thing. And I thought I would miss that with the Echo Show. But what I found is rather than so much the casting, I just like the fact that it's its own device. And if I do something, I'm not necessarily getting bothered to, I'm not being bothered while I'm listening to something through it, which is cool. So that actually added more value than the casting. So in all, I guess wrapping this up, I'm highly disappointed with the Nest Home Hub. I'm highly disappointed with the coverage I got on this thing, because a lot of people just said it was accessible because it has chromevox built in. And I did a review on the Home Hub Max. This is a newer version. It's cheaper, but newer. And I thought maybe they would fix some things, or maybe they would work on some of the issues, and they have not. One of the biggest annoyances, so I demonstrated doing the 3-finger swipe left and right for headings. You have to be really careful where your fingers are, because it's almost like it doesn't realize that chromevox is on. And it will actually literally bring up like something in the control center, or it'll do one of the gestures for what sighted people would use, and then you're in a whole different menu and you didn't mean to be. So I really just feel that testing for accessibility has not been done with this thing at all.